Salt and pepper, they're a staple on any table, whether at home or at a restaurant, right? They're the most common seasoning in the U.S. Cinnamon, on the other hand, is the most common spice used for baking. In fact, I use it every day in my coffee instead of sugar. But Consumer Reports just released a list of 12 cinnamon powders that they say you should never use. Testers came up with that list after looking at 36 ground cinnamon products and spice blends. 1 out of 3 contained lead levels above 1 part per million.
The real reason anyone cares about this and about heavy metals is because they accumulate in the body over time, and they can cause all sorts of problems, and particularly developmental problems with children, including central nervous system problems, ADHD.
Not only does lead exposure impact children and pregnant women, but in adults, it's been linked to kidney damage and hypertension. Most cinnamon sold in the U.S. is imported from Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam. The highest lead levels from CR's tests were found in these 3 lesser-known brands, which are sold mostly in international food markets. On the other side, 6 products had very low or no detectable lead, including 2 Whole Foods products. What really caught my eye, though, were the brands in the okay to use category, because they're only okay to use in a certain amount. Consumer Reports recommends only using 1/4 of a teaspoon a day from Costco's Kirkland brand, Walmart's Great Value brand, Trader Joe's, Target's Good and Gather brand, and well-known McCormick. All right, now I want to make sure that you don't miss this, because a lot of people are going to say, well, why isn't the FDA doing something about this? And the short answer is there are no federal limits for lead in cinnamon or any other spice.
What a weird, is it like a loophole? I mean, so strange.
I know. I think you think about that and you're like, well, why isn't that there? Obviously, it's not really supposed to be there. The state of New York has strict guidelines, but they are not national, but they could be, right? So maybe it hadn't been thought of before, but it needs to be thought of now. So Consumer Reports has a petition that you can sign online that asks for the FDA to put limits on lead and other heavy metals. I have this for you in the Two Wants to Know section. Now, I don't want you to think that these companies are intentionally putting lead in this kind of stuff, right? I think that's what people think, like, why are they doing that to us?
Right.
And that is not really the case. You've heard of other kinds of food products that had arsenic in it maybe, or something else, right?
The apple juice, right?
Yes, right. And people did not put arsenic in the apple juice, right, to taint anything.
Yeah.
So let me have you listen to the Consumer Report expert before we go on to the next story about why levels of lead are found in cinnamon.
Cinnamon trees take about 10 years to grow, giving ample time to absorb lead from soil and water. Additionally, during the drying process of the bark, the lead can become concentrated.
And so it happens naturally. Now, the problem is, why are we not testing for it then in the plant when we're putting it together, right? Why don't we have better soil requirements? Why don't we have better testing requirements when it gets into the jar?
Well, and how do you even filter that out?
I don't know. That's a great question.
You know?
Don't know. I don't know if it's a really hard thing to do. I don't know if that means that they would have to, cut their, product in half. I don't know.
I wonder if it's in specific areas too.
Could
where
be.
the trees are located.
It'll be interesting to see how the federal government takes a look at this.
Of course, they told Consumer Reports, oh, we don't have to comment on any of your testing, which is true. They don't have to comment on any of the testing, but maybe this petition will get them to look at it, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, we're going to be right back.